Hello! Arthur Bishop, the best hitman in the business, is hiding from his past under a false identity. But the piece comes to an end when Bishop's nemesis sets in motion a plan to take over an underground arms market. Now, the mercenary needs to take out 3 arms barons, who are located in different corners of the world, and have spent a fortune to protect them from intruders. What's worst? For Arthur, there is simply no way to refuse the assignment. Arthur Bishop wakes up on his yacht on the coast of Rio de Janeiro. He drinks coffee to the music from vinyl records, and when he leaves, puts the boat on alarm with an explosive device. The man gets on his motorcycle and drives through the summer streets of the city to a restaurant, where he is greeted as a regular guest. There, a girl comes up to him and says it wasn't easy to find him.
You would like 3 men killed. Each death must look like an accident. Your specialty, I believe.
The former hitman pretends that he does not speak English. He had faked his death a long time ago and is hiding under the name of Otto Santos. The female threatens to reveal his identity to the authorities and other interested parties if he does not take the job. At nearby tables, Bishop notices people who have come with the girl and are observing him ominously. He stops pretending and says he needs to make a phone call, but pulling out his phone, takes a picture of the girl instead. In retaliation, she tries to point a gun at the man, but Arthur locks her arm and knocks her out. Her henchmen get involved, which the man stops with skillful techniques. Knives, a red-hot grill grate, and a stun gun go into action, causing a fire. After the mayhem at the restaurant, the chase continues onto the cableway, where Arthur hides by climbing onto the roof of a cable car. The pursuers, led by the woman who has come to her senses, enter it and try to shoot Arthur through the ceiling. She kicks the door open and climbs up, but Arthur jumps off into the abyss, calculating the jump to land directly on the hang glider flying below. At night, Bishop returns to his boat and sees that unknown persons are trying to break into it. He activates the detonator and then goes to the port, where he has a base set up in one of the containers. Bishop searches for information about the stranger from her photograph, destroys the passport and documents in the name of Santos, and takes one of the new passports he had prepared in advance. He flies to an island in Thailand, where he meets an acquaintance, May, who owns a tourist hotel on the coast.
You're different.
Older.
Something more than that.
She leads him to the cabin where Arthur had stayed earlier. There, Bishop opens a stash of phones, guns, and passports, and then makes inquiries about the girl from the restaurant. He pays $10,000 for information about her, and discovers that she is connected to a man named Crain, who sells firearms. At this time, May is approached by a girl who has come ashore from a boat. She asks to have her first aid kit restocked, and May notices she has bruises on her arms from recent beatings. The woman offers to take her on a supply boat to the nearest town, but the girl refuses. At night, May hears that the beatings on the yacht continue and persuades Bishop to help. Arthur gets into a boat and reaches the girl, who is brutally beaten by her boyfriend. He demands that she be left alone, but the man grabs a harpoon and tries to shoot Bishop. Arthur knocks the weapon out of his hands, and the scoundrel takes a bad fall, smashing his skull on a metal ledge. The stranger can barely stay on her feet, so Bishop asks May to take her to a hotel while he covers the tracks. But when Arthur searches the cabin, he finds a passport of a girl named Gina and a phone, in the gallery of which he finds a picture of himself. He then takes the yacht to a remote location and douses it with gasoline to set it on fire. When he returns to the hotel, he immediately interrogates Gina about how she got his photo. She denies working for Crain, but Bishop doesn't believe it and points a gun at her. Gina tries to snatch it, and when that fails, admits that she was, indeed, forced to lure Bishop into a trap. In her phone, there's a number she's supposed to call once she seduces the hitman. Arthur realizes that Crain's next move would be to kidnap Gina, and this way, manipulate the man into doing what they want. He plans to call the scoundrel himself and kill him, but Gina doesn't want to help the retribution.
Do you really believe that Crain lets the people he blackmails into helping him live?
On the internet, Bishop finds information about Gina, who turns out to be a retired military intelligence agent. After the war in Afghanistan, she opened a shelter in Cambodia for children who were victims of human trafficking. Crain's men have kidnapped and killed an employee of the orphanage, and are threatening to kill the children if Gina doesn't agree to help them. Soon, Bishop notices a boat with Crain's men in the sea. He asks Gina to hold his hand and act as if she were his girlfriend. They get to a local wedding where they perform a ritual for the couples. Photographs of this are taken by the bandits. Later, Gina apologizes for setting the man up and says that she was willing to do anything for the children of the orphanage. Arthur says he too is an orphan.
We're still doing East End gangster. Specialized in training child soldiers. Crain was there too.
Bishop appreciates her attitude and tells her that once he managed to escape from the bandits, all the charges fell on Crain. He was severely punished, and now Crain wants revenge. Arthur and Gina spend the night together. In the morning, Bishop tells Gina to escape with the supply boat, which sails from the other side of the island. As a parting gift, he gives her his father's watch, the only memory of him, and asks her to keep it until they meet again. But soon, Crain's men swarm the coast and take the girl with them. Arthur tries to resist and engages in a fight, but he quickly gets surrounded. Bishop is taken to Crain and put in a chair full of explosives. That doesn't stop him from dictating his terms, though.
Give me the girl and walk away.
I see you've developed a sense of humor over the years.
Crain promises that he will let her go, but only after Arthur has killed the 3 men. The first is an African arms dealer, Krill, imprisoned in a maximum security prison in Malaysia, from where he continues to conduct his business. Crain gives the hitman a GPS capsule that must be swallowed after the mission is completed, so that he can be rescued from the prison. As proof that Gina is still alive, she will call Arthur after each assassination, and at the end of it, they will send him her location. Crain says that he can be trusted because he uses Bishop as the best at what he does, and doesn't want to be the target of his revenge if something happens to the girl. In Malaysia, Bishop investigates the prison on a rocky island in the middle of a shark-infested sea. Bishop forges documents in the name of a wanted man with a dice tattoo on his face, and buys the necessary ingredients for the mission to make the murders look like accidents. He disguises the contraband as cigarettes and a pack of chewing gum. The next day, he draws dice on his cheek and taunts the cops, for which he is arrested and sent to prison. There, Bishop notes that Krill strolls with a group of henchmen. One of the prisoners tells him that many people wish the arms dealer dead and are plotting against him. This is bad for the case, because if it's obvious that Krill has been assassinated, Bishop will not be taken out of prison by Crain's men. So once the prisoners attempt to take Krill's life, Bishop saves him and kills the assailant. Krill thanks Bishop and invites him to lunch, where he shares his plans for the future.
I'm going to run all of Africa. There could be a job for a man like you.
Bishop strangles the man and then injects him with poison to make it look like food poisoning. He then collapses a piece of the outer wall of the prison with explosives hidden in a pack of cigarettes, and applies an ointment to his body that repels sharks. After swallowing the capsule, he jumps from the guards off a cliff into the sea, where he is picked up by a boat hired by Crain. Arthur talks to Gina on a video call, and she informs him that he has 36 hours left to eliminate the second target, or she will be killed. After the call, Crain notices a watch on the girl's hand.
You know, I wasn't sure there was anything in the world that could break Arthur, until I saw you wearing this watch.
Bishop goes after Adrian Cook, an Australian billionaire who works in the mining industry, but who made his first capital from trafficking underage slaves. He has built himself an impenetrable citadel on the 58th floor of a skyscraper. Bishop goes to a realtor to rent an apartment directly below Cook's residence and distracts the woman to take a picture of the key. He makes bombs that can break armored glass and returns to the apartment using a duplicate key. Bishop climbs out the window and sets a bomb at the bottom of Cook's pool, which extends outward like a balcony. It is time for Adrian's swim, and he dives into the pool, where he sees his killer's face. The glass shatters, and the billionaire is dragged down in a whirlpool. Crain is pleased and lets Gina talk to Bishop again. During the call, she lies that his father's watch has stopped, and when the cameraman points the camera at it, the number of the boat appears in the frame, which Bishop uses to locate its coordinates. But the bandits catch Gina pulling this stunt, so Bishop rushes on a helicopter to the boat where they are holding the girl. He uses his diving skills again and sneaks onto the deck undetected. After killing several guards with a silenced pistol, he enters the cabin, but gets spotted and runs out of ammunition. Gina is taken outside and begins to resist, distracting the bandits while Bishop is trying to find a gun. He catches one of the guards with a grenade in his pocket and detonates it, killing several of the pursuers. But he too is knocked back by the blast and gets caught by Crain's men. Crain threatens Bishop, telling him that he only has one last chance left. In the city of Varna, Bulgaria, lives the final victim. A wealthy American arms dealer named Max Adams is hiding in a huge building on a hill, which he has equipped with modern high-tech security systems. Inside the hill, he has set up a repair base for submarines equipped with ballistic missiles. Anyone who tried to get in there ended up dead. Besides, having heard of Krill's and Cook's death, Adam is obviously more alarmed. Bishop has 48 hours to complete the mission. He learns that Adams has a medical helicopter that takes him to a local hospital near the monument on the hill from time to time. From the roof of the hospital, Bishop wounds a guard on the hill with a sniper rifle, and a helicopter is called there. Arthur climbs inside before the doctor arrives and flies with him to his target. On the spot, he jams the cameras and makes his way to the lower levels, taking out the guards one by one. Alarm goes off, and Adams is escorted out to be sent to his underground bunker in an elevator. Bishop delays the elevator and manages to sneak into the bunker before Adams arrives, but he is not going to kill him, and instead offers a deal. Arthur realizes that Crain wants to get his hands on the arms dealer's spheres of influence, and has already gotten rid of Krill in Africa and Cook in Asia.
Go Europe, most of South America.
North America too, if you count Mexicans.
Adams turns out to be a gun baron with certain principles. He claims to sell guns to those groups that are outnumbered and fighting for their independence. Bishop suggests faking Adams' death and luring Crain inside the building. To do this, Max's body must disappear after the assassination attempt, and then Crain will send his men to look for him. With the help of explosives placed on the bridge, Adams falls into the water, where Arthur meets him and swims with him to the other shore. The news reports that Adams has drowned and his body has been pinned by rocks. Bishop calls Crain and demands that Gina be released, but the boss replies that he must see Max's body first. Bishop informs him that it's located at the submarine's base, so Crain sends his men there. He also orders them to find and kill Bishop. But Arthur has already prepared an ambush for the incoming guests in the form of tripwires with explosives. Crain watches the deaths of his subordinates through security cameras. Very soon, Bishop is left one-on-one with Crain's main assistant, who tries to hide in the submarine, but fails to close the hatch in time, and Arthur's grenade flies inside it. While Bishop swims underwater to Crain's boat, Crain uses Gina as bait and leads her to the helipad. Arthur climbs onto the lower deck and begins eliminating the guards. Gina is taken away by a guard, but she resists and gets shot during the struggle. Crain personally takes her with him, while his men try to take out Bishop with machine gun bursts. This time, the hitman doesn't let himself be caught off guard and takes out all opponents in his path. Crain, meanwhile, activates the self-destruct mechanism of the yacht. Bishop manages to get to the wounded Gina, and they discover that there are 3 minutes left before the explosion. Arthur puts the girl into an escape pod, while he himself leaves to take revenge on Crain. He finds the villain and gets into a firefight. Crain survives this attack, and when both run out of ammunition, the melee fight begins. Crain attacks with a chained anchor, but ends up tied to the yacht himself. He knows, however, that time is ticking, and Bishop will not make it out of the blast zone in time. But Bishop himself does not care about it. Instead of jumping into the water, he runs somewhere inside the cabins. 10 seconds later, the yacht is blown to pieces. Gina and Adams are informed that there are no survivors. Bishop has perished together with Crain. Gina returns to the orphanage, from where she sends a postcard to May. One day, she's delighted to see Bishop alive and unharmed on her doorstep. Adams, on the other hand, carefully studies the surveillance video from the pier and sees Arthur climbing out of the fortified anchor chain compartment, in which he survived the explosion and managed to stay alive by using it as a dividing bell. The arms dealer has no intention of leaving the dangerous hitman alive. As always, look for the name of the movie in the video description. In the meantime, let us know in the comments. Do you think that there will be a third part of the franchise? And would you watch it? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so that more awesome stories come out as often as possible. Watch an interesting movie in a few minutes without rewind? Easy!
We got a great looking audience tonight.
The Sweet Popcorn channel has a mega convenient format waiting just for you. Short retellings of movies, from auteur films to Hollywood blockbusters. Pick up your unlimited ticket by clicking the subscribe button.